Good morning. Good morning. Very, very honored to be here today to speak with you all on behalf of Informatica about master data management and the very important topic of providing a single view of customers and products and driving improved business benefits. My name is Clarke Patterson. I join us here today from Informatica headquarters in Redwood City, California. I am the Director of Product Marketing for our data quality solutions, focused specifically on data quality improvement, master data management, and data governance. So I'd like to start briefly with an introduction to Informatica for those of you who are less familiar. Informatica was founded in 1993, and our core business at the time was really focused on the process of ETL. So Power Center, many of you may use as a product today, really was where the organization got started and how we've grown the business over the years. As we can see, a lot has changed with the company. We've branched out beyond just the traditional ETL business, and we really are focused on being the best-of-breed data integration company in the marketplace today. What this has meant for us strategically has been investments in key areas that you as businesses look to solve around the problem of data integration, from data quality to information lifecycle management to master data management, which we'll talk about today. The benefits for us as an organization have been very, very good. So last year we reported record revenues of $650 million. Our growth rate over the past 5 years has been tremendous at 20%, and we're really seeing an increase in demand for data integration solutions like we have and we provide in the marketplace. The organization as a whole continues to grow. We have over 2,000 employees worldwide. We've had a presence here in Korea for just over 6 years now, and we're excited at the opportunities that are presented in this market. We grow through our strong and ever-increasing partner ecosystem, and we have a vast, vast range of customers solving all sorts of problems from data integration, ETL, data quality, master data management, and so on and so forth. So the first thing that I want to talk about is, before we jump into master data management, is how we can align the thoughts that we have around our IT initiatives and our IT projects with the key thinking that our business leaders have day in, day out. And this will be a key theme that we talk about throughout the presentation, is understanding that master data management really is a technology area that will help us align the various business functions up and down the organizational functions. So if you step back for a moment and think about your particular business and what it is that your top line executives are concerned about every single day. In all likelihood, it's going to be one of the three things we see at the top of the chart. They're going to be concerned about how we can increase revenue, how can we effectively manage cost, and how can we reduce the risk that we're exposed to every single day, day in, day out. To address these particular concerns on an annual or ongoing basis, we tend to embark on a number of strategic initiatives. We create programs to help us improve decisions across the enterprise, whether that's about the type of products that our customers are purchasing, what the purchasing patterns of the products themselves are, what the performance is in specific regions, and so on and so forth. We might embark on merger and acquisition activity to broaden our product portfolios and strengthen our company where we have gaps. We might also focus on shoring up things like governance, risk, and compliance, particularly if we're in the financial services industry, where there's a lot of sensitivity around how we can report and the timeliness of our ability to report to regulators. As an IT organization, we tend to focus on specific projects to help support the business in these particular imperatives. So I've listed a number of them on the bottom of the chart, from expanding our enterprise application portfolio. Software as a service, cloud-based applications is one area where a lot of organizations are obviously focusing today in terms of driving cost improvement, but there's a number of different things that we might choose to focus on. We're going to drill into master data management in particular in this conversation this morning and talk about how MDM itself can help us improve our decisions, drive down efficiencies or drive efficiencies and reduce costs, help us more effectively manage mergers and acquisitions, get more effective in how we attract and retain our customers, and be smarter about how we can manage our risks. In understanding the direct impact between master data management and these strategic imperatives, we'll be able to help the business at the very top level execute successfully on their need to drive revenue and reduce costs and manage risk. So it's a very important chain of events that we need to keep in mind as we go through the conversation, that there are multiple stakeholders that come into mind when we talk about master data management. So if we think about a typical organization today, it might look something like this. At the bottom of the slide, we see the operational systems that support our organization. We have a wide range of applications that have been created over the years to solve specific problems, from marketing to CRM to Salesforce automation, whatever it might be. There's a number of different types and variations of data that comes out of these applications. And as such, we need to think about how those variations can impact our business as a whole. We might have legacy systems that have been around for a long time, information that doesn't necessarily have a core function to our business today, but if we can get more creative about how we can access it, it can have and help drive greater insight into the decisions that we make in the business. The variety of the information that we're dealing with can vary dramatically. All different types of data, rich content. We're starting to see social feeds come into the picture, and we need to keep all these things in mind in terms of our ability to get to and access. And then we have third-party data that might be sourced from somewhere else. And how do we bring that into the fold and into the mix? At the top of the organization, we have multiple different business functions that are using all this information in different ways. For that particular business function, they might be effective in understanding the customers and the products with the sales and marketing organization as an example. But as we look to get more creative in how we manage and maintain data across our business, some of the other business functions may choose to get access to the data that the sales and marketing function might be. Unfortunately, the format and the shape and how the sales and marketing organization may treat that data is vastly different from what our finance organization might be or our supply chain operation organization might be. And so creates a great deal of complexity in terms of how we can unlock the value of specific pieces of data for greater use across the entire business. Traditionally, we try to share this information. It creates a very, very high amount of confusion, as we can see. We try to share from legacy systems up to various applications and business functions. And due to the fact that we have different types of data around products and customers, the value that we get really doesn't yield what we want it to. So the key is, how can we make sense of all of this confusion that we have? How can we do a much more effective job of unleashing the value of the data that sits in our legacy systems and our applications, synchronize it across the different types that we see, and whether it's a product or an account or a customer, and serve it up to all the business functions that need it in a consistent way so that we can make decisions possible. Obviously, there's no way to govern the information when we have an environment like this. Every organization is going to be treating the data in its own way. The sales and marketing function is going to define a customer in a certain way. Finance might define a customer in a different way. When we try to reconcile those two particular customer data entries together, it's very, very difficult to understand what that meaning is. And so we don't get any further ahead. So master data management really helps us alleviate a lot of these problems and unlock the value for the data across our organization. Obviously, when we think about those business imperatives that we're trying to execute to drive revenue, to increase costs, to reduce risks in our organization, as long as these business imperatives don't succeed, we're not going to be able to successfully do those things. So our ability to effectively manage governance, risk, and compliance, if we don't treat the data in a single way, if we don't create a common view of our customers or our products, it takes us far too long to reconcile what the meaning of that particular information is. And when regulators are involved, time is really of the essence. We need to be able to report very, very quickly. And so all that time to reconcile that information can have harmful effect. Similarly, in that same scenario of managing governance and risk, how do we know and how can we pass on the information with confidence? If we don't have a single definition of what a customer is, if we don't have a single definition of what a product is, the data that we pass out to them might not make sense, and we expose ourselves to unnecessary risk. And so as a result of that, the business as a whole is exposed in its overall ability to manage governance, risk, and compliance. We can go across the board and think about any of these business imperatives, and this behavior is going to be the same unless we fundamentally fix the data that supports each of the initiatives, whether it's how we attract and retain customers, whether it's how we manage our risk, whether it's how we improve decisions. As long as we're dealing with data in a siloed way and not in a single consistent manner, we're going to set ourselves up for failure and a lot of frustration. So for this reason, Informatica provides a portfolio of products that helps us reconcile that big mess of data that we just saw on the previous slide. So whether we're looking at accessing the data, doing something with it, Informatica has a broad portfolio of products, master data management being central to the platform that helps us unlock the real value of the enterprise data that we have all over our business. So if we look at applications and legacy systems and third-party data on the far left side of the slide, the first step is really to get access to it. So depending on where it is, where it sits, the frequency of which it's updated, we need to be able to ensure that we can get at that data anytime we need it and we can serve it up whenever we need to. Once we have access to that information, we can pull it into our operational systems. We need to do some manipulation in terms of how we can reconcile all the different variations of the data that we see across the business functions, across the third-party sources. And that's where master data management really comes into the picture. The first part of the process is really in the upper left-hand corner around discovering what is that data sitting out there? What does it mean? What does it look like? What are the patterns that we see? Are there anomalies that we need to address? And having a complete view of all that in a very, very rapid fashion with a tool that can help us sift through massive volumes of data really helps us get off to the right start in terms of our treatment of data as a strategic asset. With that insight in mind, we can have a very, very effective modeling process to understand what the source systems need the data to look like. And so we can take the steps to effectively model it for the various needs of the functions of the business that are going to consume it. Cleansing might come into the picture in terms of how we address the quality issues. Perhaps there's data elements that are missing. They don't conform to a specific format. We need to standardize them in a particular way. All things that are very, very important downstream in our ability to use data effectively across the business. The steps of recognizing, relating, and resolving is really about understanding the relationships and the matching of particular data elements. Identity data in particular is very, very critical when we think about the different variations of individuals that we deal with over time in our organizations. Mergers and acquisitions ultimately end up with lots of different databases of customers. Oftentimes those customers are the same individual. So we need some ability to reconcile that information down into a single complete view so that every time we interact with them, whether it's in a financial sense, a customer support sense, or a marketing outreach sense, we do it in a consistent and effective manner. And our ability to merge records really helps us do that. At the same time, we need to understand the relationships between data. If you think about product hierarchies or relationships of individuals in a household, master data management really helps us establish those links of particular attributes so we can understand how specific data elements are related to one another so we can be more effective in our operational handling of data. And the final piece of it is really how can we govern the data over time? Oftentimes we see organizations dealing with data improvement, data management, very focused on a strategic and tactical, or a tactical need that serves the purpose of the business right now. But we don't think about what the long-term impact of that data improvement is going to be. And do we need to put measures in place to ensure that everything we do today is going to sustain itself over time? And so creating some lineage into how data is manipulated, where is it coming from, who's touching it, how is it changing, really allows us to get some transparency and some insight into what the behavior of our data is so that we can govern its patterns and ensure that we do treat it as an asset all the time, every time we need it. So once we have the single view of our customers, our data, we've understood it, we've modeled it correctly, we then need to serve it up to the applications and the analytical systems that we want to use to help our decision making. So whether we're building a Salesforce solution or an SAP solution, we can then take this single version of the data from all of our operational systems, serve it up to those applications so we get a consistent view every single time. So master data management really acts as that centralized place that carries out all of those particular functions so that we can serve up the critical business elements, the data that we know we can act on with confidence. So as we can see, whereas before we had information that was scattered all over a number of different legacy systems, we've changed it so that we centralize in a consistent hub. We have a single view of our customers, we have a single view of our products, we have a single view of the accounts that our customers hold. And regardless of the strategic imperative that we're looking to address, we're serving up that information. So it's the same every single time. We know what a customer means. We know what a product means. We don't have to go back and reconcile all that data. And everything is centralized into a single repository. As information changes down on the bottom of our legacy systems and our operational applications, so too does the source of that information in the master data management hub. So as we continue to execute on our strategic imperatives, everything that occurs underneath the business automatically gets addressed transparently. So we can continue to execute efficiently as we need to. So Informatica has been working with customers around the globe on addressing this particular problem. I've listed just a few here that are some excellent examples of clients that we are seeing that are addressing master data management and master data quality improvement across the business to drive better business outcomes. If I look at Smith & Nephew, for example, Smith & Nephew is a global medical device provider. And they create products such as replacement hips and replacement knees, surgical bandages, trauma kits for use in military interactions and things of that nature. They were challenged with the need to improve their revenue across the business. Essentially, their ability to sell products across the organization had kind of stagnated and it had flattened out. And they wanted to get the revenue growth moving back upwards. At the same time, they had a vast volume and number of different types of products, and they needed to get some greater understanding of what that data was, and so they could understand what the patterns of purchase for their products were across the organization. They focused specifically on a master data management strategy with the near-term goal of improving data quality for just a very small set of data elements. They narrowed down 65 of the most critical products to the organization and put in place steps to improve that data, deployed dashboards out so the quality of it could be maintained, and created a single view around those particular product elements that they could then pass out to the business. As a result of the focus on the single view of the products, each of the business units that were given the dashboards, given the capability to maintain improvement across the board, saw profound improvement. The marketing organization alone, due to the fact that they had not spent any time reconciling address information, just address information, saw an immediate impact in savings of $1.4 million. They realized that they were sending out marketing advertisements to a subset of their customers that didn't even exist or that were at different locations. And that was a huge waste of cost. So by creating a single view of their product information through this exercise, they were able to get that transparency into the fact that that outreach was not as effective as it needed to be. And so very, very significant impact across the business as a whole. So now let's talk about why do organizations start on master data management to begin with? So if we look at what Gartner says as the starting point, this survey looked at a number of executives across a wide range of industries and asked simply the question of what are the key drivers for your master data management initiatives? As we can see at the very top, by and large, most of the organizations said they were looking to improve the business processes that they had supporting their organization, and then they were looking to drive efficiency across the business. So that's a key indication that the time it takes to reconcile data, whether it's customers or products, was causing a lot of churn in the organization. And they were starting to feel a lot of pain as a result of that churn. So these businesses were setting out to deploy master data management projects to really start to make those processes much more efficient. So with that in mind, most organizations say, okay, I need to depart or go down the path of creating a master data management project. Well, what's the first step? Because, as I said at the beginning, there's a lot of individual functions within the organization, all the way from IT to the top of the organization in our executive suites. The key first step in any MDM project is really building the business case. Not surprisingly, a lot of companies will miss this step altogether, and they will just try to embark on a master data management project. If it's IT-led, it becomes technology-driven. We're trying to deploy some technology solution to get a single view of our customers, to get a single view of our products, but the business just doesn't understand how this technology is going to have a positive impact on the core operating function of the organization. Without focusing on the business case, those companies will continue to struggle. They will fail. They just will never get their master data management programs off the ground. For this reason, it's very, very important to really think about what is the business justification for a master data management project. Focusing on building a business case really helps us understand how our efforts as IT leaders can directly impact the top-of-mind concerns that our business executive have. And putting those pieces together really helps get the program going. It's often easy to think of this step as a bit of an obstacle. We want to just get to the end goal. We want to implement our technology solution. Unfortunately, though, because there's so much failure associated with skipping that step, it really is important to understand the particular value of it. When we go down this path, we can ensure that the business is really bought into the process so that as the project starts to evolve, the business stakeholders are really on board and understand how a master data management project will drive improvement across the organization. It gets everybody involved in a thorough understanding of what these benefits are, and it helps us provide the direction for the ongoing evolution of the master data management project itself. Finally, it's really difficult to prove success without a business case. If you don't establish a baseline of where you are today and where you want to get to, how will you ever know if you've actually changed the behaviors of the business around your enterprise data? So the business case helps us say, here are the problems that we see today, here are the strategic goals of the organization today and tomorrow, and here's how the technology and the master data management focus can help us achieve those goals. With the business case in place, we can then use the business case to monitor over time how successful we are against those goals and make adjustments as we need to over time. Gartner, again, validates that the business case really is a critical first step. And as we can see, a large number of organizations fail to make these programs effective without actually focusing on getting business buy-in. So if you're thinking about master data management today, or you think that your organization might be starting it tomorrow, really start to get your mind around what is it that the business is going to need from an overall operational efficiency point of view, and how can my master data management focus really help them achieve their goals. Because there's so many people involved, from IT to the middle management to the line of business owners, all the way up to the executive suite, it's important to think about the fact that the conversation will come in multiple different shapes and forms. So at the bottom line, at the IT focus, we're really going to be focused on those data quality metrics around our master data. How can we improve the data itself? But then as we evolve the conversation up into the organization, we need to think about all the stakeholders on the left-hand side of the pyramid. Who are those executives that are going to benefit from this? And who are all those key stakeholders that we're going to need to influence and understand what the data improvement means in the context of those particular individuals. So as soon as we can bridge that particular gap, it really helps us engage all lines of the business across the organization. Don't just think of it as an IT project. As long as we focus the conversation on just the data, we will never get the business owners really engaged in helping drive the process as a whole. So if we make sure that we elevate and chain the benefits up into the organization, it really helps us achieve our goals. So, but before you get going, you really need to understand what those business drivers are, right? So when you start to think about what those impacts are in the organization, is our business trying to drive down cost? Are we trying to increase revenues? With those types of topics well understood and the strategic direction of your organization understood, you can frame the conversation from an IT point of view in the context of the business to really make sure that we get success. We build the business case itself so that we can justify the funding, we can really ensure that we have the right resources that we need, and then we can also build a successful program to ensure that the master data management program yields the intended results. When we build it can vary. So maybe we're looking for a quick win. So in this case of Smith & Nephew that I mentioned before, the customer example, they've absolutely needed a quick win around master data management for their product data. So they had a very small and tactical approach how they were going to deal with master data management, and they focused on building a business case on just a subset of their data, 65 out of tens of thousands of data elements. And as a result of that focus and articulating that as a specific business value, they were able to get the key stakeholders across the organization on board with the program and get the funding that they needed so that they could drive that improvement. We need to build the business case to justify the ongoing investment in it, and also make sure that the existing projects are going to yield the intended results. Oftentimes we need to think about how did MDM come to the table to begin with, and sometimes this isn't necessarily obvious, especially if it's coming from the top of the business down. If the IT organization is not leading the desire for MDM, the conversation isn't going to be something like, we need master data management for our products. What it might be is something like, we need to do a better job of outreach to our customers. We need to do a better job of attracting and retaining our customers. We don't have the ability to segment our customer base effectively. All those things lend themselves to a need for a single view, a complete view of customers and products. So understanding what the business thinks and how that directly relates to master data management is a key first step. The point at the bottom, I think, is a very important one in that master data management technology solutions exist to create centralized versions of our customers and our products, for example, but that's not necessarily the first point that organizations start with. Like Smith & Nephew, again, they focused on data quality improvement initially in the context of master data management problem. So they didn't jump all the way into a master data management technology investment immediately, but they focused on a smaller subset of the problem with the bigger master data management view in mind. And that's an okay approach. You just need to think about what the right fit is for your organization, what your budget constraints are, what sort of time you have available in your project to make sure that you build a program that's going to fit your business. Very quickly, there are categories of drivers that we see. Some of these things I've already talked about. Efficiency, we're looking to drive efficiency across our organization. Perhaps we're spending too much time deploying projects. The existing resources we have in the business are spending way too much time reconciling data-related issues. And so master data management can help us drive improvement across our business. We're trying to drive growth. And so I use the example again of customer outreach. How can we be more effective on understanding who our customers are, which products they've purchased, which ones they haven't purchased, and how can we create packages and bundles around the buying patterns that we see within our customer base and help us drive revenue across the organization. Compliance, which I mentioned earlier as well. Are we dealing with the regulators in a timely fashion? Are we doing it with confidence? Do we have trust in the data that we are serving up to our regulators? And are we exposing ourselves because we're not thinking about what it is that we're providing them? And finally, strategic. We think about mergers and acquisitions in particular. What happens when we have multiple different versions of customers? Can we reconcile that information together? And can we do it in a very, very timely fashion so that we can yield the synergies that we had set forth as part of the merger and acquisition business case to begin with? Master data management can really help us drive increased and improved time to value for mergers and acquisition activities. So with the right master data management approach in hand, it really helps us ensure that our strategic imperatives in support of our business business functions of revenue increasing and cost management, things of that nature, are successful. So governance and risk and compliance, we can get the information to them in a very timely manner. We can do it very fast. Mergers and acquisitions that I mentioned, we can synchronize multiple different versions of databases and customer information and product information across companies in a very, very timely fashion, so we can derive greater insight into all that customer purchase patterns and product purchase patterns very, very quickly and yield very, very fast improvements. Gartner, again, I use Gartner a lot, but MDM in and of itself is implied to derive tremendous value. And as we can see here, 80% of the cost of an MDM investment will be returned immediately due to the ability to positively impact the strategic imperatives that our organization seeks to drive. And so it's something that is a very, very critical element to success in a highly competitive market that we see today. So why Informatica? So, you know, there's lots of MDM vendors in the market. Informatica really prides itself on being the leader and one of the leaders in the eyes of the industry and in the market that we play in. So whether we're looking at master data management, data quality for master data, or data integration, we work tirelessly to ensure that whether it's Gartner or Forrester or any other industry, we are always pursuing the upper right-hand corner of excellence in the particular eyes of the market. So master data management, we can see we are in the leaders quadrant with other top vendors in the space, and we are continuing to drive forward on our ability to execute and our completeness of vision in this particular space. Data quality is the same, data integration is the same. So Informatica will tell you that we have a tremendous solution for all of these products, but the market also agrees. So as we continue to innovate and drive forward, we see testament to the fact that we're doing the right things in terms of the analyst community. Very quickly, the complete portfolio, the Informatica platform, if you're familiar with it, helps reconcile data integration functions with data quality functions, master data management functions, so that we can treat data as a strategic asset. We can serve up authoritative and trustworthy data across the business. It enables us to govern the data more effectively because we can get all the stakeholders that we need to involved in fixing the problems. We don't have it just an IT problem. Business doesn't understand what we're doing. We create facilities that everybody across the organization can really get involved through our technology offerings. And finally, why do the customers select us? Well, first and foremost, it's for the fit of their function. They look at specific problems, they have specific needs, and they are looking for a solution that can help benefit them today, but also as they grow and evolve as a business. Informatica Master Data Management in particular is perfect fit for customers that are looking to focus on a specific data domain such as customer, but also might want to add product or some other data domain down the road. It addresses all different types of data domains in a single package solution. The performance goes without saying. Regardless of the volume and variety of the data, it's prepared and it's built to address various needs that you may have across your organization. It's flexible and adaptable, so regardless of the size and scale of your organization, we can drive value immediately, but as your business grows, it also is built to scale with the needs of your organization, and it's business focused. We need to align business and IT. Master data management is all about aligning business and IT, and the tools that we deliver are really focused on doing just that. It's not just an IT problem. We give IT the right tools to help address the problem, but wherever we need to, we give the business owners the right tools that they need to help get involved in fixing the issues. So with that, I want to thank you for your time. Very, very quick discussion on master data management. I encourage you to come by and talk to us outside. We'll be here throughout the day, and it's been very much my honor to be here and speaking with you all. Thank you.